Okay, we're back with more Infectious Madness of Dr. Dekker. Again, we're going to go until an act break here. It'll be a good stopping point, and I'll credit any time to Waffle Tea Subblock. We're on Act 3 now.
On Valentine's night.
Time as you know it freezes.
20 minutes past 10.
Keep up, Doctor.
Thinks we're going to smother her in her sleep.
I'm a grave digger, Doctor.
I was at home,
David is my husband.
all on my lonesome.
Stabbed him with a steak knife.
Nothing changes.
I'm a qualified angel of death when I'm dancing.
You get this day over and over.
Hilda,
I black out,
I don't think she's got long.
And Laurie just...
naked on the beach.
Hannah.
Is that it for today?
David hunts,
I can change my skin.
then skins.
Dr. Dekker dated his patients.
I had a hot date.
We went out for drinks.
I took photos of Jessica.
Dr. Dekker did
On
phone
Valentine's Day.
and ask me for Nathan's number.
There was a girl there.
Am I wrong to keep the locket?
I'm allowed to talk to her, aren't I?
He was preoccupied with finding
Photographs.
patterns.
Rocking chair.
I haven't been back to the beach since,
I had a bit of a shaky loop incident.
where I find something
I set fire
beautiful in the sea.
to Hannah's clothes in the garden. I dug the grave.
I wish I'd said goodbye.
Dr. Dekker cursed me.
It didn't weigh enough to have a body in it.
Hey, Prop, how you doing? Yeah, similar to her story. So quick reminders of the people we're currently able to talk to. I haven't talked to Jaya yet, or I think that might be my secretary, so I don't think I have any detail on her damage. Definitely haven't talked to Professor Warwick. Bryce is the guy that believes in a persona 25th hour that he experiences outside of the normal clock. Claire is mundane prey, stabbed her husband with a knife, possibly has a split personality or an imaginary friend, something like that. Aelin is an angel of death hospice person who thinks she's a skin changer. Mariana wakes up on the beach after blackouts with seaweed. There's some kind of Cthulhu stuff going on with her. Nathan is the guy that has a Groundhog Day, so he keeps looping back through the same day over and over. And I'm just going to do these from the top, I guess.
Professor Warwick, I'm a physicist. Where's Dr. Dekker?
He's dead.
Is he really? Actually dead? Not a worthy adversary after all, then.
Adversary?
Dr. Dekker challenged me. He tried to use my theories against me. Quantum theories.
Of course. Quantum theories?
Do you really want to know? Dekker's eyes used to glaze over whenever we talked about that. He didn't believe in quantum physics. As if it's something that you can optionally believe in. Well, it started with an experiment.
Experiments?
Have you heard of
Yes.
quantum suicide, Doctor?
It's like quantum immortality, but the opposite. The idea that you can only continue to observe in the universe in which you're able to continue to observe. So from the perspective of any observer, they appear to be unable to die.
Well, then I'll be brief. According to the laws of quantum suicide, if I were to shoot myself now, then one branch of my timeline would result in my death, whilst the other in my continued existence. I simply applied that logic to something different.
Any difference?
Gambling. I set up an experiment whereby I would visit a casino and place a very large bet at a roulette table. Now, I would always bet on odd. Now, the results of this particular experiment were mundane. I won as many times as you would expect according to the laws of probability, but then I changed a parameter.
A parameter?
Quantum suicide required a loss of life to make it a realistic thought experiment. So I simply upped the stakes. Now, every time I bet on odd, I would place everything I had on that one spin of the wheel, and it worked. Well, for a while.
Yeah. Why did it stop working?
Dr. Dekker killed it, and I can't get it back.
You really sound like you have a reason to want to kill Dr. Dekker. How did Dr. Dekker kill it?
Well, my theory, quantum gambling. If the stakes are high enough, you will win every time by simply shifting your consciousness into that branch that wins. It's tricky, but
It's kind of a fun
Dr. Dekker didn't
psychosis.
like that. He saw me becoming rich and powerful, and he hated that. That's why he proffered the hangman's paradox.
Hangman's paradox.
Well, imagine a judge sentences you to death.
I'm
Now,
taking
it will be
notes over
Monday
here.
or Tuesday next week. But it will be a surprise. Well, which day do you think you'll be executed?
Valentine's Day. Monday? Tuesday?
Well, Monday does seem likely, yes. Because if you're still alive on Monday at midnight, then Tuesday won't be a surprise. But if you're sure that it's Monday, then that won't be a surprise either, will it? Dekker tricked me.
Tricked you.
He told me that sometime in the future I would lose a bet, that I would lose all of my money. Now, this didn't seem likely because I had quantum gambling on my side and it was working. But he unnerved me. He made me doubt myself. And then it happened. Recently, I lost everything that I'd managed to build up since Vanessa left me.
Vanessa.
We were married for 14 years, 7 months, and 3 days. Vanessa couldn't have children, at least that's what she told me. She grounded me in reality. I'm not complaining. It's probably what I needed. But part of me always thought that one day I'd achieve immortality through science and we'd be...
She wouldn't be immortal
It
too.
wasn't to be, though.
At least not according to quantum suicide immortality. Only the observer can continue living forever. Why would Dekker hate you becoming rich and powerful?
Honestly? Well, I think he feared quantum physics.
Quantum
He
impression.
didn't like
Just
things being
append
explained
quantum to any
in
other
terms of
verb.
Science. Almost as if he'd
Quantum
preferred
juggling.
chaos.
Chaos.
I don't really know what you're getting at.
Hey, we went pretty far without that popping up. Why gambling?
Why not gambling? My wife Vanessa left me for a neurosurgeon. Do you know, she emptied our entire combined wealth into her barrister's wallet. I needed more money.
Tell Andrew I'm going to leave her for a
Provided me with
neurosurgeon.
the solution.
Did it bother you you couldn't have children?
Well, yes, it bothered me, especially now that I find out that she's pregnant. Oh, no, it wasn't a rocket scientist that was required, but a brain surgeon, it seems. I have considered putting that neurosurgeon onto his darkest timeline, but I'm not a killer.
Are we explicitly referencing the Community episode? I mean, that's fine. What were you doing on Valentine's? Everyone was doing something on Valentine's night, and that's going to be kind of my investigation towards the end of all this.
I was at a fundraiser for a charity called Mindstretch Outreach. Don't know how I got roped into that. I can't remember.
Andrew hates
But it was full
anything
of,
that
very
seems
clever children
like
with
philosophy.
bizarre outlooks on life. And Jaya. It was Jaya who asked me to go.
It's my assistant. What's Mindstretch Outreach?
He's full of poor kids with very capable minds. I did give them a talk on quantum tunneling once, and they loved it. Not sure it'll put dinner on the table for any of them, though.
Hey, sir, how you doing? Tell me all about quantum tunneling.
Oh, you're going to have to Google that, Doctor, I'm afraid. I'm not a walking Wikipedia. I'd love to tell you, but I am paying you by the hour.
Basically,
Maybe look up Schrodinger's cat whilst you're there.
thanks. Basically, it's like there's a chance, however improbable, that something could jump through, go up an energy state, or move through a wall, and it's basically never going to happen. But even if it's, almost infinitely improbable, it must happen every so often just because there's so many particles in the universe. That's actually a really cool doomsday scenario. There's a good Kurzgesagt video on it about the Higgs field collapsing. Probably just Google Kurzgesagt Higgs field. Probably not going to happen, but...
Oh, she's Dr. Dekker's lovely assistant. I imagine she's your lovely assistant now.
That's true.
Yeah, she always smiles and makes me a cup of tea before a session. That smile. Which reminds me, my session. Can we talk about my problem now?
Right. Like, if you set a baseball next to a wall, it's never going to phase through the wall. But on quantum scales, it happens constantly. That's right. I think I'm done with Warwick. Yes, let's talk about your problem.
I'm not a gambler, Doctor. I'm a scientist. I need more money. It's true I've run out of money for my research. An opportunity has arisen.
Opportunity?
A very wealthy group of individuals have offered to pay me a very large sum of money if I attend their next private soiree. They don't want to talk or anything like that. They want a practical demonstration.
Demonstration?
They'll pay me £1 million if I can successfully survive 6 rounds of Russian roulette. Now, I am worried because of what Dr. Dekker said, but, well, I can't help but thinking that the stakes are so high I can't possibly lose. What do you think, Doctor? Should I take them up on their offer?
Let's say no. Because in my universe, he will die. Guaranteed to die.
I'm not aware of...
No, don't take the offer.
No, I suppose you're right. In a darker timeline, you probably said yes, and I'm dead now. I earn good money where I work. How do I stop losing it?
Stop gambling.
I take your point. But I suppose to decide whether to continue gambling or to stop gambling is a gamble within itself, isn't it?
No, literally it's not.
Well, my time is up. Will we be having another session or... No, don't answer that. It'll turn you into a gambler like me. Infectious. Isn't it?
It's like the madness is infectious. Later, dude. Oh, I literally just left. Okay. Jaya. I really want to say her name is Jaya, but apparently not. Hello.
I'm fine. I'm ready for my grief counselling. I emailed you Mariana's address. I don't know why you'd want it. I suppose you're
Mariana's
going to
the-
start doing home visits now?
Wakes
like
up on the
Dr.
beach
Dekker?
lady. Home visits.
Yes, Dr. Dekker started doing home visits for Mariana. He
Shock and
said
awe.
she couldn't concentrate properly in his office. I hope you're not thinking of doing the same thing. I need you right where I can see you.
Why do you need me where you can see me?
Checks and balances, Doctor. Somebody needs to be watching the watchman, so to speak. Make sure you're helping, not hindering.
Hindering?
He probably did his fair share of helping and hindering. He was definitely helping in the beginning, but then seemed to lose sight of things.
Sight of things?
I think he was so overwhelmed by the patients he was getting. His curiosity just got the better of him. There was a definite turning point. Somewhere around the time Professor Alderby turned up, that seemed to unsettle him. And then we had a flood of extra weird patients. I think it was all too much for him. I think I misjudged him. I hope you deal with it better.
Thanks. Just to share about Dekker.
Some mornings I come into work and still expect him to be here. Sometimes it feels like he actually is here, watching over me. We had a connection. It's gone now, though. You can't have
How
a
could you say
connection
that,
with the dead,
Propagate?
can you? Not for too long, anyway.
Why would I want Mariana's address?
Doctor, if you don't want it, don't text me and ask for it. It's all right. I don't mind doing menial tasks for you. Someone has to do them.
I didn't text you.
Well, maybe someone sneaked your phone during a session and texted. I know they all look innocent, but if it's not nailed down, there's a good chance they'll walk away with it. You know, I used to have an iPad. Under Surface.
iPad?
I don't know anything about that.
Clearly. Okay. Shall we talk about grief today?
Grief is such a strange word if you keep saying it. Grief, grief, grief. It sounds like
Just
somebody's being whipped.
Semantic satiation.
You're gonna ask me
It's
how I
not
feel
unique
today?
to grief. How do you feel today? Oh, hello. All right. Any news on Ben?
I think that's all settled now. We are agreeing to pay Ben £5,000 and he's agreeing not to say anything about what he saw.
What did Ben see?
He thought he saw a creature coming out of Dr. Dekker's mouth.
Oh, that's cool.
At least that's the reason he's given for not emptying the bins that night. Either way, it's not the kind of publicity that we need. Shiny, happy, sane people.
Maybe he was just throwing up. Tell me about the paper spike.
It's in that police report that I gave to you. You should really take a look at it.
Okay. Clues. Crime scene report. Victim located in his office, seated on a chair behind the desk, soaked in blood with an obvious chest wound. Paper spike, 150 millimeters long, protruding from the approximate region of the victim's heart. Emitted from liver temperature measurements between 8:30 and 10:30 p.m. on Valentine's Day. Sanguination due to punctuation of left anterior descending coronary artery. Death would have occurred within minutes. Okay.
Dr. Dekker asked me to have dinner with him for Valentine's. I refused, obviously, because you don't sleep where you eat or something like that. But it was flattering, especially with competition like Mariana around.
Is Mariana competition?
Sorry, I didn't mean I was competing. I was happy Mariana was going out with him. I didn't want to be romantic with him. We had a stronger connection than that.
Was it a stronger connection?
Dr. Dekker and I shared some philosophy. We'd both read The Cult of the Kinetic Mind, and we agreed with a lot of what it said. Have you read that book, Doctor?
No, I haven't.
In Cult of the Kinetic Mind, the author suggests that everyone is capable of psychokinesis and that the cult leaders specifically had these powers that turned their followers into disciples. It's not a fun read, but if you're into psychology, it's a blast.
What is a real world? And by world, I mean word. What's psychokinesis?
Psychokinesis is the ability to change the physical world without actually touching it, just by using your mind. It's not just about bending spoons. It covers all sorts of things like telepathy, telekinesis, telesabalas. Shoot me, I'm a Kojak fan.
Do you believe in psychokinesis?
Like I said, all those cool things are in Cult of the Kinetic Mind, apart from Kojak, obviously. If you ever get a patient who thinks they can change the world with just their mind, then duck, just in case they can. But seriously, do a whole load of shrinking and make them better. Whether you believe in psychokinesis or not, you'll need to figure out your approach with those that do.
What approach?
How do you make people who think they have special powers better? Do you remain passive and support, encourage them, take them away?
How common is psychokinesis?
No, not at all in my experience. Dr. Dekker had an unusual number of patients who claimed psychokinesis. Either he'd been specifically looking for them or someone had been sending them.
Or he was giving them that power. These are my notes at the bottom here. It's kind of hard to keep track of what the game is publishing in here automatically. Probably it's my responsibility to be passive.
Things could escalate. Building trust is one thing, but at what cost?
Why would someone send psychokinetic patients here?
It's entirely possible that someone is targeting this practice with psychokinetic patients. To what end, I don't know. It's no coincidence that most psychokinetic patients are diagnosed as insane, or at least temporarily insane. It's a handy diagnosis if you're facing criminal prosecution, especially if it's for murder.
Jaya is our friendly exposition and like Ludo procedure assistant character. This is what you should be doing in the video game part. What did you do on Valentine's?
I was at home on my lonesome, Doctor, like I said before.
In Act 2. Did you talk to Nathan much?
He talked to me a bit.
Groundhog Day guy is Nathan.
It's been bothering me, but I think I should share it. My keycard went missing on Valentine's Day, and Nathan had it. Well, he gave it back to me in the morning, said he'd found it on the floor of the office, but I don't drop things, Doctor, not keycards. I checked the access log, and it was used at 10:05 on Valentine's night. I guess it doesn't prove he used it, but somebody did.
So, even a few hours into this game, the game does a lot of note-taking for me, and like I think I just added that as a note here somewhere. Let's see if it's towards the top. Yeah. Jay said Nathan found her keycard on Valentine's Day. I should ask Nathan about the keycard. Okay. They're all giving me like timestamps of things that happened, and I haven't written all of them down, but so far I haven't had to recall information that I put together from writing things down. Like it's all been kind of provided to me in this drop down, if nothing else, right? You told the police about the keycard.
I haven't mentioned it to the police yet. I'm still thinking about it.
I think we're donezo, Jaya. Man, these are some good questions. Why couldn't Mariana concentrate in the office?
Honestly, I think Dr. Dekker had a bit of a crush on Mariana, or vice versa.
Oh
There's some
my
footage
God.
from their home
Oh
sessions
my
if you
God!
want to
Although
see them.
actually it was sort of obvious.
Yeah, that seems like a good idea.
That's a strange...
Yeah, show me the footage.
That was a joke, Doctor. I guess we found our level.
Why does grief sound like being whipped?
Oops, that was a strange thing to say, wasn't it? Whipped. Am I all whips and chains in the bedroom or dominant in the boardroom? Don't answer that, it's not a question. It's early days for a harassment suit yet, what with Ben's nervous shock already.
That can go both ways, Jaya, but okay. What do you know about Dr. Dekker's mother?
Dr. Dekker did send me to see his mother once. She was dying in a nursing home and he didn't want to see her.
Was it the same nursing home?
Calling her a manipulative, evil old hag. You tend not to ask any more questions after that.
No, that seems like a healthy opinion. Okay. Perhaps you should ask someone else a question. Okay. Let's go to Bryce. Bryce is the Persona 25th hour in the day guy. Hello.
Hello, Doctor. I've been thinking about our last session, and I just wanted you to know that I'm not a bad person. I know taking naked
He does shitty
photographs is
stuff
wrong,
during the
but you don't know
25th
what it's
hour.
like until you face the same temptation. I'm assuming you don't know what it's like. Do you have an extra hour, Doctor?
I do not have an extra hour.
No. Sorry.
No, I don't have an extra hour.
Thank God for that. There's someone else in my hour. A hooded figure. Watching
Creepy.
me. Following me. I followed it too.
Act 3 Revelation, Allison Price's Hour. Followed it?
In simple terms,
Where did you follow it to?
whatever it is that's following me, it doesn't want to catch me yet. If I move towards it, it runs away. And when I follow it past temptations.
Is it a group of Japanese teenagers?
An open till, an open bedroom window, like it's testing me.
Testing you? Achievement unlocked. Committed. That's for a number of questions asked. Testing you?
I think that I'm becoming a good person, Doctor.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed of some of the things I've done, but I'm getting better. The hooded figure, it's testing my morals. Judging me. For what? I don't know.
Social links are too low. Testing you? Oh, I guess I already asked. Who is the hooded figure?
I don't know who it is. My initial thought was that it was you.
Oh, yeah.
That I told you about my affliction and somehow you'd got it too. Now I think maybe it's the military or some organization that wants to use the hour themselves. Maybe it's Dr. Dekker risen from the dead. I need to talk to you about him.
What do you want to tell me about Dekker?
I spied on Dr. Dekker not long before he was
Oh,
murdered.
so at the...
I'm not sure I should tell you what I saw in his basement.
Don't present it like that, dude. Basement?
I'd been feeling uneasy with Dr. Dekker for some
Metal
time.
Gear?
I mentioned how he'd changed before, so I began spying on him at home. One night, the basement door was open, and Dekker was returning upstairs. I skipped past him, and there she was, a girl.
Mariana?
It was difficult to tell. It was dark, and she was chained.
Chained?
Is that supposed to mean something?
Was it Mariana?
That means nothing to me. Yes, Vienna.
Okay. Oh, that's the end. Wait, no, what did you do with the chain girl?
I removed the chains, dressed her, and sat her in the police station. There's no evidence, though. No evidence of what he'd done. But she was free. I saved her. I'm not evil. I destroyed evil.
Destroyed evil?
I believe that Dr. Dekker was a truly evil man, and so should you. I know
Just
you
like
record
a-
these sessions, Doctor.
Orient Express
I'm
thing?
not
Did they
going to be
all
filmed
kill Dr.
saying I
Dekker?
wanted him dead. But I did. And so should you.
What you just said? Okay.
And Doctor, if I wanted to kill anyone, I'd do it in the midnight hour, wouldn't I? And when was Dekker murdered?
Not at the midnight hour, according to my police report. Took the girl in Dekker's base into a police station. Okay. Why would the military be following you?
I'm surprised I haven't been approached earlier. I mean, my skills in the military. Special ops would be a breeze, wouldn't it? Waltz in past everyone during the midnight hour, get whatever you want, and return to friendly soil. It also makes me think that they might already know all of that, and that they want to get rid of me in case I tell anyone else. Would you do something for me if they get me?
I assure you that no one is using the Persona Hour for anything cool or clever. It's literally just for grinding in a spooky tower. At no point are we going to take this premise idea and really explore what it means for the plot. We're just going to grind in a spooky tower. It depends on what it is really my answer, but yes, I'll do something for you.
Would you tell Jessica I love her? She didn't really know me that well, but I did love her. And also, there's a hard drive in the bottom drawer of my drinks cabinet. Please destroy it. Please.
Really, it's the pictures he
don't look
took.
at it.
I won't look at it.
Don't know.
No. Oh, nope, nothing else to say. Okay, tell me about the paper spike.
Dr. Dekker frequently used that paper spike on his desk as an example.
Meant to
I'm
be.
sure he did it with the other patients too. He'd make me look at it, touch the point to see how sharp it was. He'd tell me that because I think it's sharp, it will hurt me. But if I thought it was nothing, it could pass right through my hand.
It's through your hand.
In the last couple of sessions I had with him, he put the spike through his hand. He'd be grinning at me while he was doing it. No blood, no nothing. He tried to make me do the same, but I wouldn't.
Dekker didn't seem like a great psychiatrist. That's it. Tell me about the bar brawl.
I split the brawl up.
That's it? Tell me about the open till.
I did nothing. I'm not stealing anymore.
Did you, like, float to the till because there was pie on it? Is that something that happens in this setting?
I looked in. Watching other people is somehow built into our genes, Doctor. There was an old woman in bed. I went inside. Her bed covers were smoking. I think she'd fallen asleep holding a cigarette.
What?
I took the covers and put them in the bath. She'd have died otherwise. And no, I didn't take any pictures.
Did you bury David Castleford?
I'm actually a classically trained pallbearer. There are a lot of health and safety considerations. Not everybody can do it. Well, properly at least.
You're classically
Occasionally I step in
trained?
if the funeral director is
Oh, okay.
short-shouldered. I do remember her face. She wasn't upset in the usual way. She seemed agitated. Her husband must have been a giant. The coffin was so heavy. I remember because aft port side sprained his ankle. That and he wasn't lifting correctly.
Calling a person aft port side.
I find using nautical terms to describe the position of
Sure.
pallbearers fitting. Plus, most of them are 3 sheets to the wind. You know, drunk.
Oh. Claire asked you to do something with David's body. Claire is the mundane, cray-cray person who stabbed her husband. Might have an imaginary friend, so slightly less mundane as of
I
Act
have
2.
absolutely no idea what you're talking about, Doctor. I saw Claire Castleford's husband in the coffin myself before carrying him to the grave. He is in the ground. I'm sure it wouldn't take much for the police to get an order to have him exhumed. Just make sure it's done on Tuesday morning when I'm off.
Not a fan of exhumations. Have you seen Jessica again?
Jessica is a beautiful woman. I've not spied on her since the incident we talked about.
Well, that's good.
I have real feelings for her, Doctor.
Jessica's not a patient.
We've never connected.
You should try talking to Jessica. I think he needs to stay very far away from Jessica.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
Oops.
It's nice you think I'm capable of such basic interaction with females,
Females.
but I'm still in awe of her, really. I will think about it, though. I put my hand through a rusty nail at work today.
No, geez.
It hurt like hell and bled like I'd been shot.
You
I
have
closed my eyes
tetanus?
and thought, this isn't happening. The nail is just a worm, and it will wriggle through me. When I looked back, can you guess what I saw?
Frankie. The wound had healed?
My hand had healed.
Hey.
The nail had become a worm, and was wriggling in my
Yeah,
palm.
right.
It was like a little miracle. Like magic.
Magic.
I shouldn't really say miracle or magic. They're words that Dr. Dekker used when he tried to get you to think things and make them real. But do you think it's real, Doctor? That magic is real?
No, I don't think magic is real.
And so it isn't. I envy you, Doctor. I wish I could be so sure.
Guys are all willing things into existence in here. What did you see when you looked at your hand?
When I looked back at my hand, it was healed. Look, see?
Perhaps you could ask someone else a question. Okay, let's go to Claire. Cray Cray stabbed her husband as a imaginary friend or a split personality or something.
I've been to the lake house regularly, keeping an eye on David. I saw the girl again, the one I told you about. She was playing outside.
I just had a outage, dropped to 0 kbps. After Comcast was supposed to have fixed things. Second, I'm gonna see if I can fix it. Pause the live spit timer. All right, we're back, having recovered from a Comcast outage there. This one is pretty frustrating because just spent many months getting them to fix a cable that was supposed to be the source of the problem, and of course it was not. Pick up where we left off. Hopefully, if you're watching this on YouTube, I was able to edit this after the upload to remove the downtime. Asking questions of Claire.
It makes for interesting reading, doesn't it? I can tell you're dying to ask me about it. Fire away.
Or it says you're arrested for murder.
That's what it says. I can see you're confused. The police say that David is dead, fatally wounded when I stabbed him. The coroner says that David is dead. Everyone says that David is dead. There was even a funeral. But I know he's alive.
How do you know David is alive?
You tell me. What could possibly explain that?
It's not how that works, but okay. How could you have a funeral if David isn't dead?
He's buried at Henley Church. You can go see for yourself. There's even a headstone. One of your other patients was a pallbearer. I never forget her face. You should ask him.
Yeah, that was Bryce. We assume it gave me those questions early. I was wondering why it was prompting me before I talked to Claire. Do you intend to fatally wound him?
David wanted to have a talk about our relationship. Not something any married person wants to hear. He said he'd been with Iris for about a year and that he loved her. He said he didn't love me anymore. Which I know is a lie. You don't just fall out of love with somebody. I reacted badly. I grabbed the nearest weapon I could find, which happened to be the steak knife, and stabbed him with it. There was so much blood. I instantly regretted it. So I fixed him.
Fixed him? This is
It
news.
was about a week later.
My
I
Act
brought
3
David back to
revelation.
life. Not with voodoo, not with virginal sacrifice. I just willed it to happen, and it did. Dr. Dekker told me it was possible, but only if you're not buried. He says once you're in the ground, there's no coming back. But until then, you have a chance at resurrection.
No, I previously made a note that I thought that she had David as an alternate personality now, but maybe that's not what's going on. Did you resurrect David?
Yes, resurrection. But now that I've seen the results, I don't think there's anything holy about it. I think reanimation is more an accurate term. Like, I'm an evil necromancer raising things from the dead.
Okay. She makes more sense now as a character. She seemed pretty mundane compared to the other patients. It says her husband is in the ground.
You sound confused. What exactly do you want to ask?
I mean, I wanted to type it exactly as Bryce said it, but that's okay. What were the results of David's
I
resurrection?
think his brain was already decaying during the week that he was dead. Important bits. So when I brought him back to life, I didn't heal him completely. Just gave him life in the state he was in. I mean, he's hunting and killing things and trying to roast them on fires he can only light with matches, but that's about it. He's
She said that
replacing
neck
Neanderthal.
too.
So I have a problem.
Problem?
I'm being charged with murder because the police don't know he's still alive, and I can't get David to vouch for me for obvious reasons. I think it would raise quite a few more questions than answers.
You think so?
Which is why I'm hoping that you'd be able to help me.
How do you want me to help you?
Considering the circumstances, I'd be grateful if you could see your way to declaring me temporarily insane at the time of the murder.
That's convenient.
To lessen my sentence. Because I'm not a killer. But I can't prove
I'm a
otherwise.
necromancer.
You don't still think I'm a killer, do you, Doctor?
I do think you're a killer, actually. I have to always check the drop down for this. I want to just be able to type yes or no. Yes, you're a killer.
At worst, it's manslaughter. I didn't mean to kill him. I just stabbed him a bit.
A bit.
And although he was dead for a week, I brought him back to life. Does this mean you won't help me? Was I temporarily insane?
You are still insane. You weren't temporarily insane.
I'm going to pretend that I didn't hear that. Let's have a few more sessions before you seal our fates. Or is it that you want something else? Like Dr. Dekker did.
A threat?
Think, Doctor, think.
Okay.
Use your brain.
Yes, yes. What else did Dekker want?
Dr. Dekker teased me mercilessly about my eligibility. He didn't believe I'd reanimated David. Once, he presented me with a dead mouse and commanded me to give it life again. I didn't, of course. It's not something I'd throw around lightly. He changed his mind about me eventually. And then he mentioned the girl.
The girl?
I don't know what you're after, but I don't know anything about that.
What girl did Dekker mention?
He told me he'd locked up a girl in
Did
the
he, though?
basement of his house. Just for me. And he asked me to reanimate her. It was Iris. I said I couldn't reanimate something that wasn't dead. And
Stories are coming together
he
here.
said that wouldn't be a problem. So I agreed. I just
Spooky.
played along. I was hoping it wasn't real. I assumed it wasn't real. But he was offering me what I wanted. A temporary insanity diagnosis.
I think Dr. Dekker spinoff where you play as a snarky, skeptical psychiatrist. Did he, though? Really? Did you help Iris?
It didn't happen. Dr. Dekker called me from his house to cancel. He was furious. He said that Iris had escaped, and he blamed me for it. He said that I must have set her free after he told me about her. I knew it was all lies anyways. He was obviously titillating himself by reprimanding me. He knew I'd never want to speak to Iris again.
Did he,
so I couldn't
though?
prove it either way.
This game could almost have a do but, because most of the time all you have to do is repeat the last noun that they said. But sometimes it's a little janky. I like the idea of this game's twist on her story. I'd like to see them iterate on it if we ever do get a sequel. What changed Dekker's mind?
Dr. Dekker asked if I could prove David wasn't dead, so I took him to the lake house. He saw that I was telling the truth. I can take you to see him too, if you like.
Sure.
Would you like to see David, Doctor?
Yes, I would like to see David.
Very well. In our next session.
Damn it. Which patient was a pallbearer? It was Bryce, but I think I have to ask that in order to say what Bryce
was
said.
a pallbearer for David. He's also
Persona
a grave
guy.
digger, I believe.
How did you know Bryce?
Smuggling a body out of a funeral can be difficult. Unless you pay the right people.
Are you saying you paid Bryce? Oh. Do you know anything about the paper
A
spike?
paper spike is an odd thing to use as a weapon. I suppose if it went directly into the heart, it might work. Or
Hey, that's what
through
it
his
says.
eye, or perhaps through the ear into his brain.
So you're saying it's
Or
an
was it just a
extremely effective
frenzied,
weapon.
bloody mess of a murder? Do you know, Doctor?
Your first guess was the right one. Oh, okay, here we go. You think you might be seeing David's ghost? I don't want to ask that, but okay.
I assure you, David is not a ghost. I've touched him.
Also, ghosts are silly. Is David not human?
Since I brought him back, I felt that there was something different about him. Something not quite right.
Sometimes dead is better.
I think it's his brain. But how ludicrous that you can bring someone back in the first place. It's like that book, Pet Cemetery.
Hey!
Funnily enough, he does smell of earth, but that's because he spends most of his time out hunting.
Sometimes dead is better. Are you lying about David being alive?
If David doesn't exist, then that means that I really did kill him. He really is buried, and I really should be going to prison for a very long time.
That's fair.
That just doesn't seem right to me. It's more probable
Compelling.
that I reanimated him under Dr. Dekker's guidance.
Gotcha. You're lying about never seeing Dekker outside your sessions.
How astute, Doctor. Yes, I did say I hadn't seen Dr. Dekker outside of our sessions. That wasn't a lie. Our trip to the lake house was made during a session.
What's the note? Claire says he's been smuggling bodies.
I didn't speak to her this time. Something about her made me feel uneasy. I just watched her from the bedroom window. She'd caught a fish. She was holding it in her hands.
Fish.
I wasn't close enough to see, but for all intents and purposes, it looked as if the fish bit her. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I caught a fish alive.
Why wasn't that last part captioned? No. Ask someone else a question. Okay. Looks like I can't tell them the things where they're accusing each other of things. Aylin is the Angel of Death hospice person who thinks she's a skin changer. How are you?
I'm fine. Work's fine. Hilda's fading fast. Terry. Oh, you'd be pleased to know I don't have the locket anymore.
What'd you do with the locket?
All of it. Every single keepsake.
Her trophies. Gave it back?
That doesn't really matter. Let's talk.
Yes. Why did you give the locket back?
You told me to. Well, not in so many words, but you said I shouldn't have kept them. And what with Terry going around telling everyone I stole them, I didn't feel like I really had any choice.
It's fair.
The lockets, the watch, the ring. But I kept the little bird Sarah Dekker gave me. I wasn't supposed to mention her.
Well, now you did.
Dr. Dekker's mother. She was one of my
Hey,
first
I called
patients,
it.
but she died a while ago.
Do you know about the paper spike?
It's true then.
It's like the Valentine's Day of
Dr.
Act
Dekker's
3.
stabbed, but I didn't know for sure. It's weird that whoever did it would choose the paper spike.
Why is that weird?
Dr. Dekker used to play with it in our sessions sometimes. You know, pick it up, handle it while we talked. I remember once, he pushed the spike through his skin. At this bit, here, between his thumb and his finger. He said he didn't think I'd mind the sight of blood, being a nurse and all that, but actually, there wasn't any.
Why wasn't there any blood? She's not going to know
I was a
that.
bit freaked out. At first, I thought it was a trick. A magic trick, you know? Like some kind of therapeutic test. Show the patient this retractable spike and see how they react. But it wasn't. The spike was real.
How do you know the spike was real?
Dr. Dekker gave me the paper spike to try. It wasn't actually. I don't know how he did it. He said he just thought that it wouldn't hurt him, so it didn't.
Psychokinesis stuff. How's
Hilda's
Hilda?
nearing the end. She's been sleeping a lot, not eating much. She hasn't been that argumentative either. Although, she did give me a vicious scratch yesterday.
Scratch?
It was nothing. I was just trying to give her meds. It's hard, you know? I'm trying to help her, but she keeps fighting me. It'll be better after she's seen her daughter. I've decided I'm going to do it tonight. She hasn't got much time left.
Do what?
You know the answer to that, Doctor. What have we been talking about? What can I do for Hilda that will make it all better?
You tell me. Say it out loud. Are you going to pretend to be Hilda's daughter tonight? Are you going to kill her?
Seriously? No, that isn't what I meant.
Uh-huh.
That's the plan. I know, it sounds unbelievable, like I'm making it up. I wish I could prove it to you somehow. We could try shifting now. Think of someone you really love.
Skin
It
changing
might
into the
help if
daughter.
you close your eyes. Are you thinking of them?
Oh wow,
Can you
actually do
picture
that.
them? Okay, hold on.
Whoa, shit! This is the first time we've actually seen.
Sorry, I don't think it's gonna work. On the bright side, that probably means you're not gonna die anytime soon.
Hooray! Well, there was that little effect for a second. All right. What do you say when you
It's
shift?
tricky. I mean, I'll sound exactly like Hilda's daughter, but I try and keep it vague because I don't become her. I don't know what she would really say. I say things like, "It's okay, don't be scared, I love you, Mum," or "I love you, Dad." But it doesn't really matter what their relationship's like because it's not really them. I always do the Disney version. The best, most loving version. That's what my patients want to hear. And maybe deep down they know it's not the truth, but it's got to be better than the reality.
And then you killed him? Yeah, I do like the way they do escalation in this. Especially with like Dr. Dekker and each of their cases. Why bother shifting if patients know it's not the truth?
Does it really matter if it isn't the truth?
It does
Isn't
matter,
it
yes.
worth it if it brings them peace?
No.
Tell me honestly, Doctor. Do you really think that what I'm doing is wrong?
Absolutely. Yes, what you're doing is wrong.
So you're saying I should let Hilda die without seeing her daughter one last time?
Yes. That's correct. I'll let her die alone. Screw you, game.
I don't know if I could do that, Doctor. I'd be letting her down. I'd have to think about it.
You could, like, be with her when she dies without defrauding her, but
Terry seems to have...
just add a patient that's just a homeopath.
Actually, it doesn't seem like she's been very well. Not her usual self. Maybe she's got a bug or something.
Bug?
I don't know.
No. Why'd you say I'm not gonna die soon?
As far as I know, it only works on people who are close to death. That's the whole point of it. I have to hold their hand, and they have to think of the person, and they have to be near death. And those seem to be the 3 criteria.
It's not to death that your face kind of changed. Tell me more about Sarah Dekker. Oh. Why didn't you want me to know about Sarah Dekker?
It just makes things complicated, doesn't it? I knew Dr. Dekker's mother before I started seeing Dr. Dekker. She's dead, and now he's dead. I'm sure you're going to have a field day with it.
Adding some notes here. I want to turn into a patient's daughter before she dies. Did you know Sarah Dekker was Dr. Dekker's
Well,
mother?
that's the reason I came to see him. I knew she was dying, but he refused to talk to me unless I booked a session, so I did. And well, here we are.
Here we are indeed. Why did Dr. Dekker refuse to talk about his mum?
I told Dr. Dekker that his mum was dying, that he should see her before it's too late.
He hated her.
But he wasn't interested. It wasn't like he hated her.
Christian
It was
Grey.
just like it wasn't important. He asked me to take care of it for him. He did send his assistant along to see her once. Sorry, your assistant.
Dekker told her to take care of her. What did Dekker mean by take care of
It
it?
was about the second
I wonder.
third session we had. He said he could tell that I was a good person, that I wanted to help people, and that I should think really hard about how I could do that. That's how I discovered shifting.
I already have asked her about shifting. Was it Dr. Dekker's idea for you to shift?
All Dr. Dekker did was encourage me
We
to
learned this in Act 2,
But
that
the
he
shifting,
basically induced
that's
these
all.
psychoses in all of them.
And my mum's a psychic, and my sister's an empath, but I was just ordinary. I always felt like I wasn't special, like I was missing out. But I wasn't. I just hadn't discovered what I could do yet. Sarah Dekker was one of the first ones I tried shifting for.
It's the same brand of nonsense as cold reading, psychic readings, homeopathy, acupuncture. Like, even if you're not charging someone, you're engendering this deception scheme. I think it's bad. Did you shift for Sarah?
I didn't really know what I was doing that first time. I mean, I didn't actually expect anything to happen. I just thought, what would really help this woman? I thought maybe she would just imagine that he was there. But it actually happened. I changed into him, Dr. Dekker. It blew my mind.
Abuse of trust by someone with a position of power. Yeah. How is your mom psychic?
My mum's got these spirit guides and they tell her things.
She's got a lot of new
Mostly about
information
my
compared to the
love
other
life,
patients.
see?
Adding more notes. What's an empath?
To tell you the truth, I don't really know what an empath is. I should probably Google it sometime.
Mariana. How are you?
I'm okay. Thanks for asking. It's rent day, and I always feel a little blue on rent day.
Why are you blue on rent day? Because she's not Felicia Day, she's Felicia Night.
Can you repeat that?
No. What's rent day?
Rent day is the day I pay rent to my landlady.
That's not how I would ask that. Okay. Your landlady? What's up?
I pay my rent to a landlady. I don't own my own place.
That's
I'm
so
just
bizarre.
passing through.
Who has a landlady? Passing through?
I never stay in one town very long. I get bored too easily. Once you've seen the same faces over and over again, you move. Like I said before, I like to move around a lot.
Why do you like to move?
Nope.
Do you know anything about the paper spike?
Dr. Dekker used to put my checks on that thing. I guess someone thought they weren't getting value for money.
Hey, she's an American. She didn't spell that checks. The Q.
I actually don't have a lot of money. Sometimes a therapy check would bounce, but Dr. Dekker would be okay with it. Oh, my checks are fine though, don't worry.
Okay. Do you have money
I'm
problems?
not broke. Men buy me drinks at bars though. Sometimes I'll get
What?
away with not paying at restaurants. Isn't that how it is for everybody?
Do you often go to bars and restaurants?
I mainly like drive-thrus. I don't like crowds, and I find it difficult to stay in the same place for too long. I guess I'm a fidget.
Fidget. No, passing through. You dislike crowds but visit nightclubs?
Crowds at nightclubs and bars are different. The lights are dim. You can slink around without attracting too much attention.
Why don't you like attention?
Try again?
Man, you're the worst. Why slink?
Sometimes I'll kiss a guy in a club, and then he just follows me. Wherever I go. It's creepy. I don't want everyone seeing that.
It's fair. Where do people follow you?
They follow me. Wherever I go. Anywhere. Where do you think they follow me, Doctor?
To the beach? What happens after people follow you? This is new
Depends
information
where
for
they
Marianne.
follow me. If they follow me home, they bang on the door for an hour or so, then leave. Other places, they just disappear. I don't see them again.
The Cthulhu necklace. What do you mean they disappear? So she's got ghost people who follow her
They
now.
don't just disappear into thin air. I think they return to the place I found them. But I've not run into the same person twice.
Are they spooky Lovecraft cultists? Are there any more blackouts?
I've had no blackouts, and I haven't been to the beach since our last session.
Oh, that's good.
But I think I will today. Do you want to come with me to the beach?
No, that's okay.
Doctor, I think you're getting a little anxious.
Oh, it wasn't an actual question. Okay. Before you mentioned something beautiful.
You've got a good memory, Doctor. Let's talk dreams. Sometimes I'll dream about a light. Deep in the ocean somewhere.
Oh, like she's like putting them under their spell and they're following her and then snapping out of it.
Warm.
That's sure.
Glowing. Like a beacon. When I'm at the bottom, it's the most beautiful thing. Like a welcoming sun.
Maybe she's a siren.
And then I wake up.
That's normal. Yeah. Why a beacon?
It's so beautiful. It calls me. It's like I'm in a trance. What does the dream mean, Doctor?
You are a siren.
Interesting that you should say that. Dr. Dekker said the same thing. And he's dead now. Siren.
Whoa, seriously?
Mermaid.
Holy shit.
Do you think I could really be one?
Wow, I was just dicking around. That's pretty great. I wonder if that's a secret prompt. Maybe the dream is symbolic.
Yes, I suppose I follow that glow like people follow me. I still don't know what it means, though.
You're okay with men buying you drinks.
Just good manners to accept when someone offers to buy you a drink. I'm a very good-natured girl.
It's a Futurama joke where it's like, tell me you've never gone on a date with somebody just because you were hungry? I thought I might like him on a full stomach. Why are you good-natured?
Don't you think I'm sweet, Doctor?
I had a note that I would say you're sinister.
Okay, then.
Oh, I hurt her feelings. Do people ever follow you home?
Yes. They follow me home. They're silent. It's like a trance.
A trance?
They're in some kind of trance, like zombies. But I don't know what they want.
Do they follow you to bed?
There was one guy. A real gym body.
Is that a word? Gym body?
Nothing.
I need to Google this.
Nothing I did would stop him just staring at me.
That's creepy.
It was creepy. I got him to follow me outside, and then I just shut the door.
I don't buy that he was a real gym body is a thing that a person says. Tell me about Dekker.
Are we still talking about him? And I thought you were just interested in me, Doctor.
Dekker visits you at home.
Dr. Dekker suggested home visits.
That was what Jaya said.
I think he was probably checking up on his investment. You're not thinking of doing home visits, are you, Doctor?
No, I'm good.
That's good. I'm not sure I can afford any more of your time.
Mm-hmm. I'm just adding notes to my document here for the new facts from Act 3. All right, we're on to Nathan. Nathan is our Groundhog Day guy. Thinks he's living through a loop. Yeah. Hello.
The burned Hannah's rocking chair.
That's probably
They
smart.
moved forward. It was a good choice. I'm not sure I've got much left of hers now. I've burnt most of it, or given it away, just to make the days move forward. There was a moment when I was attacking a Salvation Army bin, but I gave in.
It's kind of Groundhog Day. He sort of has the ability to progress time by destroying things.
I accidentally put Hannah's diary into a Salvation Army donation bin. They're like huge post boxes with a circular tray that makes sure things spill to the bottom. I tried to get in to get it back, but I gave up.
And did you give up?
I don't know anything about that.
Sorry, Nathan. Did you read the diary?
I read the last few weeks of Hannah's diary a while ago. I must have accidentally dropped in some clothes for the Salvation Army bin. It's funny, because I wasn't going to read it. She said she'd fallen out of love with me. That she was going to break off the engagement. That she didn't love me anymore. I regretted it.
What do you regret?
I regretted that I mourned for Hannah so long. I regret the grief. I regret all the days I slept through because of it. Had I known she didn't love me anymore, things would have been different. I'm a bit angry now. If I had that day over again, I may just still pull out in front of the driver.
Out?
That's not really...
Sorry. Driver?
That doesn't mean anything.
Okay, we'll come back to that. Shall we talk about
Can we
Hannah?
maybe not talk about Hannah anymore?
Oh.
Thanks for the dating advice, by the way.
No problem. Card is probably what it popped up about. Okay. Did you follow my dating
I
advice?
signed up for a dating website. It's a bit easy, to be honest. If I message something they don't like, I change it when the day replays. It's not very honest.
It's fair. Why isn't it
If
honest?
I'm being honest, I'd probably rather ask out one of the patients I've seen here. The friendly redhead with the accent. You've asked me that already.
You don't
No.
you don't want to get sirened by Mariana. What do you know about the paper spike?
I remember the spike. He was very sharp. Dekker used to fool around with it during the sessions, but I mostly just kept my head down. Most of the time it paid not to look at what he was doing.
So, okay. I'm kind of grokking the structure of this game on Act 3 here. Basically, you learn one important new fact about each character on each act, and that includes Dr. Dekker. So the Act 3 revelation is the spike. Spike. It's a spike, and he has a lady in his dungeon, Iris, chained up in dungeon. Spike not hurt him. Talked about willpower, psychokinesis shit. What else can you tell me about Dekker?
I've told you all I know about Dr. Dekker. He started out good, then turned a bit crazy towards the end. When you start giving people more problems as a therapist, that's a bit crazy.
He induced their powers. What problems did Dekker give you?
Started out with depression. Now I seem to repeat days. Even if you don't believe the repeat days, then I clearly have extra mental health problems that he's given me.
I'm not self-aware of you. What extra problems? Why was Dekker crazy?
I think he possibly cursed other people, a bit like he cursed me. Sometimes you could see he was bursting to tell me about it, but he couldn't. He was ecstatic with power.
How did Dekker curse you?
The curse. Well remembered. I was hoping he'd forget. It's going to sound crazy. Dr. Dekker said I would never be able to move forward until I came to terms with my grief. And so from this point on, I start to relive the same day over and over again until I made something of it.
So as he destroys
I believed him.
parts of Hannah's stuff. Let me make some notes about Nathan here. Number 3. Dekker said he'd not get this. He finished grieving. Now he only dresses Tay if he destroys memories of Hannah. Okay. Why did you believe
I didn't want
Dekker?
to believe him. I remember I said, you can't just say things and they happen.
Yeah, that's
He
kind of the
laughed
theme
and
of this act.
I think he was going mad. He said he'd give me a demonstration.
What was the demonstration? So with the paper spike?
He held his hand outstretched and told me to look at the flame. There was no flame, and then there was.
Oh, that's cool.
He was holding a flame in his hand that had come out of nowhere.
I love the After
And he
Effects.
tried to hypnotize me to make me forget it.
It's like the earlier face thing they did with Aelin. You remember the flame even though he
I
hypnotized
didn't
you?
forget seeing the flame. He wanted me to forget it all, but I didn't. For whatever reason, he couldn't undo what he'd done. I was scared. I pretended like the hypnosis had worked.
Why were you scared?
I was scared what Dr. Dekker would do to me if he found out I still knew. So I had to play along. Keep coming to the sessions. Pretend I hadn't seen what he'd done. It was awful, because I was suffering through the same days over and over again. But I couldn't talk to him about it. Because he'd know.
What do you know? What do you want
He'd
you to
become
forget?
bored of me. So I got much of my insight from calls or messages he'd take during our sessions. I think because he hypnotized me, he didn't want to play with me anymore. So I got basic therapist.
Basic therapist?
He told me lots of people get depression. To become more active, see more people. And although he wouldn't always be there to listen, Jaya would be.
You got the key card off Jaya.
Yeah,
You know.
I talked to her quite a lot. I'm not sure how many days of that she'd remember. She seemed to care, which is more I can say for Dekker.
Interesting stuff. Did you kill Dekker so you wouldn't have to suffer through repeat days?
When you live life as I do, you don't really know what has happened and what hasn't anymore.
That's
Sometimes
fair.
I do things and I repeat the days so they're undone. I've done some things I'm not proud of, but none of it usually sticks.
I like that idea that it's Groundhog Day, but time occasionally advances, because it raises some interesting questions like that. What have you done that you're not proud of?
Dekker was a dangerous person. I'm glad he's dead. You'll get no glowing references from me.
It's fair. Okay, got my continue button. That's probably where we're going to wrap future Marstead. Check your Dr. Dekker Trails of Cold Steel .text file. There's some information about what you've learned in Act 3 about the following characters: Bryce, Claire, Aylin, Mariana, and Nathan, and also some information about Dr. Dekker that you've learned in Act 3. Other than that, just keep moving on. Dr. Dekker Trails of Cold Steel Skyrim.text.
You've made me do this. And don't try and escape. You're all tied up. Now tell me the truth. Is this a dream?
Interesting question. And also follow up with this interstitial Jaya event here. Cool. Thanks, Waffle T. I'll credit your bank here. Helps to be able to make sure that we've got enough time to make it to an act checkpoint.